We're asking him various questions. Los mantras se cantan de forma monótona. Jay Sri Radhe and welcome. Namaste Gurudevaya Sarvasiddhi Pradayine Sarvamagala Rupaya Sarvananda Vidyajine Om Ajanjana Timirandasya Jananjana Salakaya Shaksur Militanjana Tashmai Shri Gurave Nama Jai Guru Sri Guru Jai Guru Sri Guru Jai Guru Sri Guru. Regarding to the comments of many of my videos where I speak or touch the topic of the soul, the jiva, Atman, I have seen that a big number of devotees, bhaktas in Bharat, India, and in Western countries seems to have some confusion about the nature of the jiva. Mainly devotees from ISKCON and Gaudiya Math, and ISKCON, mainly ISKCON. Looks like they are very, very confused on the origin of the jiva, the confusion that is crucial on the understanding of our true nature, who we are, and from where we came from. The idea of falling from a holy place is an Abrahamic idea. This is the influence of Jewish and Christianism, or Judeo-Christianism. They fell from the paradise due to the first sin of Adam and Eve. The first sin was to eat the prohibited fruit, the apple of wisdom. But this is only connected to Christianism and Abrahamism. This has nothing to do with our Sanatan Dharma philosophy. Therefore, from today on, I will be reading some chapters from this wonderful book that I get from Jiva Institute in Vrindavan, Ramanretu, called In VAIKUNTHA Not Even the Leaves Fall. Actually, I have the PDF file of it. I went through this PDF before doing one of the interviews I have been making to Sri Satyanarayana Das Babaji Maharaj, who is the writer of this book. But for a long time I had the wish of having a physical copy, because there are just a few copies left. And well, yesterday I get this one as a present. I thank you for this present. I will avoid names, but thank you very much. I truly appreciate this, and this book is part of my collection now, my collection of books. Therefore, we will start studying. We will jump the introduction. The ones who want to read the full book, they can ask me the link for this book. I will quote the book link on the description of the video. You can go and purchase physical copy, shipping, or to download the PDF easily. You read in your phone or in your ebook reader. We will go directly to the chapter 1, the origin of the jiva, according to Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And listen, ISKCON devotees, they have their own parampara starting from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati, right? So Bhaktivinoda Thakur speaks clearly about the origin of the jiva, and this is in the chapter 1 of the book. Let's get started. As always, do what is correct. If you are learning and enjoying my work, please give some feedback, like the video, share on your social media, and of course, subscribe to my channel. Help me to grow up and to keep spreading truth on Gaudiya Vaishnavism. As far as Nitai Kripa comes, I am giving to you all. Chapter 1 the origin of the jiva according to Srila Bhaktivinoda. In ISKCON, the question of the origin of the jiva have come up again and again from the very beginning. The earliest record we could find was in the question and answer period in a Chaitanya Charitamrita class in San Francisco in 1967. They were never conditioned. Never conditioned. They are called Nitya Mukta, eternally liberated. He clearly says that the Nitya Muktas, eternally liberated souls, never misuse their free will to leave Krishna, but later on, in the same conversation between Bhaktijan and Prabhupada, conversation reads, Bhaktijan, how could we make a poor choice if we were part and parcel of Krishna? How could we have chosen the material world? Prabhupada, oh, because you have got independence. Don't you see so many students come, they go away again. Yesterday Kirtanananda went to call Rankora. He said, oh, I have forgotten this, so you can forget, Bhaktijan. But Krishna will always be there if we want to go back. Prabhupada, Krishna is always prepared to accept you. He's always prepared. But because he has given us independence, we misuse it and we fell under the clutches of Maya. That is our misfortune. We create this misfortune, and we can create our good fortune. Man is the architect of his own fortune. So, if you become Krishna conscious, it is to your good fortune. If you become Maya conscious, it is to your bad fortune. You are the creator. Bhaktijan, when the souls that were never conditioned at all, do they also have the independence? Prabhupada, yes, but they have not misuse. They know that I am meant for Krishna's service, and they are happy in Krishna's service. Bhaktijan, could they ever misuse it? Prabhupada, yes, they can misuse it also. That power is there, yes? Devotee, well, I believe you once said that once a conditioned soul becomes perfect and gets out of the material world and he goes to Krishna Loka, there is no possibility of falling back. Prabhupada, no, there is possibility, but he does not come. Let's read this again. No, there is possibility, but he does not come. On the one hand, Prabhupada asserts the infallibility of the liberated souls, and on the other hand, he stressed the misuse of free will as the reason we are here. Yet he says that the liberated souls never misuse their free will. The clear conclusion is that we were never liberated souls, and if so, where did we came from? But Srila Prabhupada never comes out and states clearly what is the case. But it is interesting that after stressing that liberated souls never become conditioned, he only talks about the process of going back. His examples all have to do with going from here to there and not coming from there to here. Of course, in other places, he said openly that we came from Krishna Lila. What? Alright. These contradictory instructions on the bondage of the jiva question have caused devotees to become divided. Some favor the fault position, others argue for the no-fault position. We have found that the debate cannot be settled strictly on the basis of Srila Prabhupada's book, letters, lectures, and conversations. We end up in a deadlock of argument and counter-arguments, quoting and counter-quoting. A better solution is to go back up the chain of Parampara and determine which of Prabhupada's two statements is confirmed as the Siddhanta and which is to be taken as secondary. Relying on Guru, Shastra and Sadhu to confirm each other is the way to resolve controversial issues. Before the time of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, none of our acharyas wrote at length explaining the jiva origin prior to conditioned life. The question of whether the jiva fell from Vaikuntha or any other place simply did not come up. In Bhagavad Gita 13:20 and in other places the Shastras state that both the material nature and the living entity are anadi, beginningless, and the acharyas repeated that. They understood that the relationship between the jiva and material nature is also anadi. Anyone understood that there cannot be prior condition to a beginningless event, and so the need for elaboration was existent. Yes, this is what we study on Shastras. If you study the Shastras and you study the Granthas wrote by the Goswamis of Vrindavan, if you study the philosophy, nowhere you find something like we fell from Vaikuntha. This is nowhere. Only devotees who are contemporary devotees who are trying to prove correct the strange words of Swami Bhaktivedanta are writing and trying to twist some shlokas here and there to try to prove that. And I honestly believe that this is what the writer is trying to explain in these paragraphs, maybe in a much more sophisticated words. Our acharyas simply states that the conditioned existence of the jiva is anadi, without any beginning. Then they go on to explain devotional service as the answer to the miseries of conditional existence. In Western culture, philosophy, logic, and in the English language, we have no equivalent word for the concept of anadi. Therefore, the term is not properly understood, and thus questions about the jiva origin prior to conditioned life arise. Later on, we have 3 chapters explaining the philosophical import of the word anadi, both from the philosophical and the logical point of view. Our predecessor acharyas did not have this problem, while it is a fact that they did not go beyond anadi to explain the origin of the jiva. They did clearly state that no one, whether a Nitya Siddha or Sadhana Siddha, falls from Vaikuntha. When we study the writings of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, we find that where our other acharyas previously explained anadi in philosophical terms, he explained in a novel way. Bhaktivinoda Thakur's explanation is more for the common man. His explanation is misunderstood by some of support of the theory of the jiva falls from the Lord's Nitya Lila in Vaikuntha, but close scrutiny, if it's the word, of his writings show that he does not explicitly state this anywhere. If our conclusions were merely a matter of our interpretation, then we may have grounds for a protected debate with the full bodies. We find, however, that Bhaktivinoda Thakur himself offers an explanation for the conditioned soul's existence that clearly does not include fall from Krishna Lila or Vaikuntha. This makes it clear that citing his writings as evidence for the fell position is a misuse of the Thakura's teachings, in that it contradicts his own explanation. About the word anadi, he writes, Jaiva Dharma chapter 1, service to Lord Krishna is the eternal duty, Nitya Dharma of the jiva, forgetting that the jiva is possessed by Maya. From then on, the soul turns his face away from Krishna, because this non-devotion to Krishna is manifest only at the time he enters the material world. There is not history of the jivas fell within the time of the material world. For this reason, the word anadi, bahirmukha, the living entity's non-devotion to Krishna is beginningless, are used. Anadi, bahirmukha. From the time of non-devotion to Krishna and entry into Maya, the eternal duty of the jiva becomes perverted. From this, some understand that the jiva enters the material world from somewhere else. This is not the true view, however, because something that is beginningless cannot have prior state of existence, as will be explained further along. In Chaitanya Shikshastakam, first shower, fourth flow, Thakura Bhaktivinoda writes, because the jiva is bound before entering the material world, his bondage is called anadi, or beginningless. Therefore, he is called nityavada. Those who are not bound in this way are called nityamukta, and those who are bound are called nityavada. And in Jaiva Dharma, chapter 16, he writes, therefore, karma has no beginning in material time. Thus, it is called anadi, beginningless. This is pretty conclusive for the fall-down theory. Fall bodies say, thinking that prior to having karma, the jiva was somewhere else, and that somewhere else was Vaikuntha. But this is only because of a deep bias and a lack of proper deliberation. First of all, even if we accept this as a proof of some sort of fall down, he never mentioned that the jiva falls from Vaikuntha. This is conjecture on the part of the fall bodies to accommodate their belief in the fall theory. On the contrary, in Jaiva Dharma, chapter 15, Srila Bhaktivinoda writes, Brajanath, in the Svarupa of the jiva, there is no product of Maya. This has to be accepted. The nature of the jiva can be influenced by Maya. This I have also understood. Now, I want to know if the Chit Shakti has created the jiva by giving it the marginal nature. Brajanath is asking about the conditioned jivas. Babaji, no. Chit Shakti is the complete potency of Krishna. Whatever it manifests are all Nityasiddha objects. The jiva is not Nityasiddha. He becomes Sadhana Siddha through sadhana and enjoys bliss like the Nityasiddha. The four types of Sakhis of Sri Radhe are Nityasiddhas. They are Kaya Vyuha, manifestations of Sri Radha, who is the personification of the Chit Shakti. All the jivas have appeared from the Jiva Shakti of Lord Krishna. Just as Chit Shakti is Krishna's complete potency, similarly the Jiva Shakti is his incomplete potency. All complete objects have appeared from the complete potency. Similarly, from the incomplete potency came the innumerable atomic jivas. Lord Krishna, presiding over each of his potencies, manifests his various expansions correspondingly. Presiding over the Chit potency, he manifests his Krishna form and that of Lord Narayan, the Lord of Vaikuntha. Presiding over his Jiva Shakti, he manifests his Vilasa form of Baladeva in Braj. Becoming situated in his Maya Shakti, he manifests the three Vishnu forms, Karano Dakashayi, Shiro Dakashayi, and Garbho Dakashayi, Vishnu. From his Krishna form in Braj, he manifests all the Chit entities. From his Baladeva form as Shesha Tattva, he manifests the Nitya Mukta Jivas, who are associate that render service in 8 ways to Lord Krishna, the Sheshi Tattva. Again, becoming Sankarshana as Shesh Rupa, he manifests 8 types of eternal associates to render service in 8 ways to Sheshi, Narayan. Mahavishnu, an incarnation of Sankarshan, becoming situated in the Jiva Shakti as Super Soul, manifests the living entities of the material world. All these Jivas, coming from Mahavishnu, are disposed to Maya, until they attain the shelter of the Hladini Shakti, of the Chit world eternal by the mercy of the Lord. They are prone to be defeated by Maya. The unlimited conditioned Jivas, being defeated by Maya, remain under the influence of her 3 modes. Therefore, the principle is that only the Jiva Shakti manifests Jivas and not the Chit Shakti. The essence is that there are 3 types of Jivas. Those that originate in Braj manifest from Lord Baladeva. Those in the Vaikuntha planets manifest from Sankarshan. Those in the material world manifest from Mahavishnu. The first 2 types of Jivas are Nitya Mukta, and the third type are Nitya Vada. The third type, by the mercy of the Lord, can also become Muktas if they take to devotional service. This explanation is very much in line with what the 6 Goswamis have written, which is quoted elsewhere in this book. If there is any doubt about this explanation, Bhaktivinoda Thakur further writes Jaiva Dharma chapter 16. There are unlimited Jivas, who are eternal associates of the Lord. In Golok Vrindavan they are manifest by Lord Baladev for the service of Krishna. In Vaikuntha they are manifest by Sri Sankarshana for the service of Lord Narayan, the Lord of Vaikuntha. They are eternally and blissfully engaged in the service of their worshipable lords, always situated in their Svarup, always striving to make the Lord happy, always favorable to the service of the Lord, and always powerful with the energy of Chit Shakti. They have absolutely no relation or contact with the inner Maya. Indeed, they do not even know that there is an energy called Maya, because they live in the spiritual region. Maya remains very far from them. They are always absorbed in the bliss of service to the worshipable Lord. They are transcendental to mundane miseries and happiness and are always liberated. They are transcendental to mundane misery and happiness and are always liberated. Their very life is love, and they have no conception of lamentation, fear, and death. The atomic conscious Jivas, who come out like rays from Mahavishnu's glance at Maya, are also uncountable. Being in proximity to Maya, these Jivas see the variegatedness of Maya. They have all the characteristics of the ordinary Jivas, as described before. Yet because of their atomic nature, they sometimes glance marginally toward the spiritual creation and sometimes toward the material creation. In this marginal state, the Jiva is weak, because he has not yet attained spiritual power, by the mercy of the worshipable Lord. Out of these unlimited jivas, the one who desires to enjoy Maya remains eternally bound by Maya because of being attached to sense enjoyment. These who engage in devotional service to the Lord go to the spiritual world, getting the strength of the Shakti by the mercy of the Lord. Besides the fact that this passage confirms that the previous one, we also learn that Nitya Mukta devotees don't even know there is an energy called Maya. Later on, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes that the reason why some jivas become liberated and some becomes bound is the proper use or misuse of their natural independence. This does not include the Nitya Mukta jivas, who have no contact with Maya and thus have no scope to misuse their natural independence. Also, from these statements, it is explicit that no one fell from Vaikuntha, because these jivas originate from Mahavishnu, have never been in the Nitya Lila, in the spiritual sky, because Mahavishnu is situated in the Viraj river, which is the demarcation between the spiritual energy and the material energy. Being Tatastha Shakti, the jivas that came from Mahavishnu may come to the material world or go to the spiritual world according to how they choose to use their minute independence. But no one falls into the material world from the Vaikuntha planets or from Brajaloka. The jivas in Vaikuntha are Nitya Mukta and always have the power of the Chit potency. Thus they can never be influenced by Maya. This verdict is confirmed in the Krishna Sandarbha, where Srila Jiva Goswami explains at length the infallible nature of the Lord's internal potency, which we discuss later in this book. Srila Bhaktivinoda explains that the jiva in the Tatastha region are weak because they have not yet acquired the power of the Chit potency. If they engage in devotional service, they can also become strong by the Chit Shakti. Then they will become liberated eternally. Moreover, he said that Nitya Muktas have no contact with Maya. Indeed, they do not even know of Maya. They cannot be attracted to something they are not even aware of. One has to know an object properly or improperly before desiring it or becoming attracted to it. This cuts to pieces the theory of the fell from the Nitya Lila. After this, Bhaktivinoda Thakur answers the question, why did Lord Krishna make some jivas weak so that they come under the influence of Maya? This question will not arise in the fall-down theory was in his mind, because he already said that Nitya Muktas are strong because of the Chit potency. Brajanath, Lord Krishna is the embodiment of mercy. Why did he make the jiva weak and thereby cause his bondage by Maya? Note, jiva here refers only to the conditioned souls. Babaji, it is right that Krishna is merciful, but he is also Lila Maya, or one who performs only Lila. Considering that various types of Lilas will be performed under various situations, the Lord made the jiva competent for unlimited gradations of positions from the marginal state up to the topmost platform of Mahabhav. To facilitate the jivas and make them firm in their competence for these various positions, he created many low levels associated with Maya, which present unlimited obstacles in the attainment of the supreme bliss. This range for the lowest inert matter up to the false ego. The living entities bound by Maya are in ignorance of their svarup, engaged in acquiring pleasure for themselves and not devoted to Krishna. In this state, as much as the jiva goes down, that much more the merciful Lord, becoming manifest before him along with his associate and abode, gives him the facility to attain the ultimate destination. Those jivas who accept that facility try to achieve the highest destination. Gradually, they reach the transcendental abode of the Lord and attain the exactest same status as his eternal associates. A class of weak jivas exists to enable the Lord, who is Lila Maya, to have the full range of Lila. Without this facility, he could not be said to enjoy all varieties of Lila. At the same time, the weak jiva has the inherent capacity to reach the apex of development by taking to devotional service. Thus, the Lord, in other aspect of his varieted Lila, he incarnates within the material energy to teach. As the culmination of that form of Lila, the Lord comes as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and teach the fallen jivas the highest destination possible, the attainment of Mahabhav in the mood of the gopis. Wonderful lecture reading. We will continue with the topic to know all the quotations from Bhaktivinoda Thakur and the philosophy, Gaudiya philosophy. But I want to get back one more time to the topic of how this influence made by mainly Western devotees came. There is one psychological effect, or how a person behaves is explained on psychology, based on psychology. They say the environment plays a big role in how a person will understand the world, and it means how a person will understand a book, a philosophy, will have a point of view, will have some kind of lens to see, predetermined by his environment. The family, the environment, the land where they grow up, what they have been fed from childhood until the time they start studying, to say, the Shastras and Gaudiya philosophy, will of course 100% influence the way they see the reality. So, if you see the gurus and the disciples of Swami Bhaktivedanta who support this theory, and who have been until now, till today, supporting this theory, all of them, they have a root of Judeo-Christianism, and many of them, the original gurus of ISKCON, maybe one or two exceptions, they were all Jewish. So by culture, they have the idea deep in their mind, in their heart, in their brain, the idea of a fell down from a kingdom of perfection. This idea we find on the Bible, right? So this idea we have been fed up every time, ever, again and again and again and again, since childhood. Some kind of cultural religious brainwash. So everything that we see out of that. In relation to this, I want to quote to René Descartes in one moment. He also was trying to find truth, and he went to a deep introspection in order to realize what is true and what is not. He said that the first step is to demolish your own beliefs, your own given ideas. In this way, your religion, your ideas, what family say, what your culture say. So when he destroyed all this, he himself being a Christian, at the end he find out the cogito ergo sum. Cogito ergo sum means I think and there exist, or I think therefore I am. This is the right translation. I have this in Spanish in my head. I think therefore I am. So he, to get to the root of his own nature as a jiva, I am a I am consciousness. Basically, is what does it mean? It means I am consciousness only. To realize it, he first demolished of his Christian background, scientific background, and ideas. And this is, on my humble opinion, what I think had not been demolished before understanding the Jiva Tattva. We go with our own ideas. We are sinners, we were kicked out from the paradise, and after that I accept some Vedic philosophy and I try to twist and accommodate the things together. Now, why did Swami Bhaktivedanta did this mistake or explain in this way? I read something about that. I cannot quote exactly the source, but if you dig for it, you will find it. And the explanation was that Swami Bhaktivedanta was clear and he knew the mindset of Americans. They are deep Christians, rooted Christians. So to bring a total new philosophy will be impossible for them to understand in 1-2 days. It will take very, very many years of studies, so the movement will not work. Then he switched some ideas and mixed up the ideas in order to make them to understand it properly. In one kata he is giving, I have a video, I will not quote it now, but I have the video, when he says to his American followers, all of you are Aryans. Originally, all you were the kings and the higher race and class of Bharat, India. Why he's saying that? To make them understand that they have a deep connection with the Indian philosophy and Indian tradition. This is called preaching strategies. Preaching strategies, but strategies are one thing and tattva are a different thing. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have questions, leave it in the comment section. I will really like to know what do you think about this. We will continue with In Vaikuntha, no, not even the leaves fell. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next. Mahavira Radharaman ki jai, jai Nitai, jai Gaur, jai Jai Sri Radheshyam.